Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to the coverage of the DPL, the Dota 2 Professional League. I'm going to be your caster Annie, aka Android, and this is going to be, again, Game 2 of a best of 2 between FTD.A and Duobao. I am very excited to bring you this series. We saw a crazy Game 1 with death balls and ulties abound, and I'm going to be joined once again by Motpax. How's it going, man?
Oh, it's going pretty good. What have you been up to tonight? You casting some Dota?
Drinking Red Bull like it's going to save my life.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit early for you, isn't it, to start already? Like, you gotta wait for like your second win when you start popping those things.
You gotta start on the top of the mountain, so it's like a slow, steady decline rather than, you know, like the up and downs, because then you just sleep. All right. Well, either way, again, this is game number 2 of 12 that we're going to be covering tonight. So stick around for approximately a 15-hour stream of hype casting. I'm gonna die, but it's worth it because I'm really excited to be bringing you all this coverage. And Lifestealer picked up for Duobao. I gotta say, I'm just not wowed. I loved their first draft because it was so unusual. They executed it very well, but the Lifestealer is just yawn. We've seen it so much, and it rarely comes online to be that ridiculous beast that he's picked up for.
And he's kind of the love of Chinese Dota before he started becoming even like more popular in this meta and everything. Like how and everybody were still picking it up before we get into this like crazy strength and Echo Sabers and all this nonsense. So now they're even happier about it. And much like you sacrificing your life tonight for the better good of casting, we have a Vengeful Spirit. The only heroes of the game that get some pretty fun buffs when they die. And this case it'll be the debuff on the enemy team, of course. One of those like kind of like underutilized parts, but then the big thing, it's the minus armor synergy. The other thing that I kind of like is I was thinking maybe it's going to be leading to like potential Batrider later on because he can be decent in like the mid game against Lifestealer. Not that you ever want to lane against him. That's only really good if you have like a mid Batrider player, which I don't see in their history. But the Slider combination does give us the answer there and stacking up that minus armor and finding a way to deal with this Lifestealer, right? Pierces through the BKB for both of those spells and just get some heroes to right click him down, maybe like a Slark or something to latch onto the guy.
Alright, and we're going to be going in ban number 3. There are still some big players in the pool. Invoker is definitely a big pickup here. Both mids yet to be determined. Do you think they want to go for Invokers or Pucks or Quaps? It's kind of rare at this point not to see a mid. At least one.
Yeah, a lot of the time, if it's like those tier 1 mids like the Invoker and everything, that was kind of our big thing, especially last patch and even the one before. Now a lot of it does come down to kind of this like offlaner plus support too, which is another little neat opening. It's especially valuable with all these heroes that can just go Iron Town as like a position 4, so like the Dooms and the Beastmasters. But in recent weeks, they just don't even get to appear. That is the new standard, is that they do not get to play the game of Dota 2. But we finally finish out those bans. I like that, getting rid of the Death Prophet. Oh, more aggression coming out here. Okay. Alright, they need something very active to sync up this in FTD. Like you talk about an Invoker or something like that. The global presence ganking with the Slider and the Spearbreaker could be good. And wow, we are just flying through this.
Yeah, I mean, no hesitation. Both teams ready to get on into this. The Spearbreaker picked up once again. Probably going to be going on to Cookie Bear. What's going to be different about Spearbreaker this time versus last game? Because last game, it was neat. It was some fun initiation, but in the end, he just kind of charged to his death over and over.
It's kind of unusual because they picked it up before the mid, so you don't really know how impactful it could be. Like, they could go back for something like maybe a Wind Ranger or something on the side of the Radiant. It would actually be a fantastic hero for the Dire, by the way. Throwing down the mid lane along with the Slider and the Venge. I'd be pretty down with that against the Lifestealer, so we'll see which team can potentially snag it up first. And it's... I don't know, you don't have the Darkseer to pair up with it. It's not very good with the Slardar in terms of like the two of them together. Maybe it's okay, you can like sync the stuns up and everything, but until you actually have like the amplified damage, there's not really a lot of synergy going on there. So it must just be kind of something that they're very comfortable with, and they're not too concerned about him overall. Like, he's just gonna get some levels. Toma Knowledge made this hero way better, by the way. Like,
oh yeah,
it was so hard to get that 6 before, and now it's like almost always gonna be guaranteed around that 10-minute mark. And you get a little bit of threat, right? You have to figure out how, like, what heroes are we gonna pick that are worried about the charge.
I really like the Weaver pick here, and I like it because Weaver is a rare exception to the rule that the hard carry needs to sit with a babysitter. Weaver is going to be pretty much completely fine as a solo safe laner, could go offlane if they want him to, and needs very little rotation in order to stay safe. He's got the Scoochie, he's got the time-lapse, and can throw out his bugs to disable any sort of blinks and whatnot. So Weaver is going to have a really easy time getting farm, getting XP, and the Invoker will end up being picked up for Duobao.
Yeah, so they're now left with their offlaner hero that they would like. Yeah, ban out the Tide. A mech carrier would be great against all this minus armor, trying to just give some auras over to your team, trying to help negate that. The Weaver, of course, can be building into minus armor as well. It's actually insane how much minus armor they have. Unfortunately, there's really... Oh, there goes that Wind Ranger pick. That's too bad. That actually, I think that would have been like the best 5 pick ever for FTD Club. Clearly, the Radiant are listening to the draft. I'm a little bit upset now. But this is a tough offlane pick. I don't think Void's that good. So you have Weaver and the Earth Spirit. It doesn't seem to synergize that well. You'd have to go for like an Echo Saber build, but he's one of the only like tier 1 offlaners that's even left right now.
Yeah.
Oh, they could actually just go Night Stalker 3 roll. That would be pretty dope.
Ooh, that would be dope, but I worry that it doesn't really leave a lot of room if Lifestealer just gets shut down and destroyed. You put up way too much weight onto that Invoker. I think they need something that has the potential to be another initiator and add some team fight. And there's the Nyx Assassin.
Dire team pick.
That's
I like
kind of
that
interesting.
a lot. Is that going to be offlane Nyx running that 3 position?
I assume so, yeah. I'm heading up there.
Oh, we got a TA.
Not versus the Invoker. Okay.
TA versus Invoker, she should get decent farm, she should be able to stay alive, but once it comes down to full team fights, Dazzle's going to be instrumental in making sure that the Shallow Graves are out. And, you know, picking a TA into a Dazzle is a little bit of a question mark. I think it's going to come down to FT's execution, but if Dazzle's on point with every grave, every heal, every poison touch, Templar Assassin's going to have some trouble, because I believe the poison touches do end up breaking refraction after a point.
Yeah, the other big thing is just this minus armor is absolutely insane. It just like never stops. They just keep picking more and more heroes to add into it. And now the Templar Assassin too. You can talk about the Dazzle, all those other skills are fantastic, but that ultimate, like, I do not think this is an offensive ultimate right now for the Dazzle. This is just like, get it on your own team, please. Make sure you get as many of your own people inside that as possible, because they gotta stack up that armor, because they have gone totally one-dimensional on the side of FTD. It is all physical damage, and that does mean you can start building into these items. They kind of pick their heroes around it too, maybe. Unfortunately, like, Nyx Assassin, again, doesn't really build into, like, ACs or mechs as well, so they don't really have the best heroes itemized for this.
Alright, so we're going on in here. The TA's build is going to be pretty interesting, whether she opts to go into a Blink, whether she goes Treads or Phase, whether she goes for a Dessa, whether she goes for an early BKB. She's got a lot of flexibility and the ability to adapt to the game as it changes. It's not going to be, you know, one path that she has to choose. So I'm really liking FTD's draft, but we saw how cohesively Duobao played last game. We'll see if they're going to be able to execute in the same way, but again, just want to recap, this is going to be the Dota 2 Professional League Best of 2 between Duobao and FTD.A. I'm going to be your caster Annie, aka Android, and I'm being joined by Motpax. Our handle's over there in the right-hand corner of the stream if you want to check this out. And alright, we can go ahead and we could introduce the teams. It's easier to wait for this giant grey block to be out of the way so we can see people, but just final thoughts about the draft. What kind of momentum are we going to see? Early game, mid game, late game?
I think the big thing to me that stands out really on the Radiant side in terms of like any sort of momentum or any sort of game plan that they want to get going comes down into this Nyx Assassin. He's very questionable to me. Like, I try to think about what is this guy going to do? It's very hard to try and envision, like, is Carapace is going to like stun a mid-Shikuchi Weaver? That's like as far as I can get here, honestly. It's not that like big synergy with the team. There's no real big like ganker. The biggest thing they have would be like the Quas X Invoker, which we're going to be running in the mid lane, pairing up Sunstrikes with like the ganks, like solo pickoffs onto, but who? Like the Venge? Like, you're not going to get a Slider, you're not going to get a Weaver, you're definitely not going to get the Space Cow. I mean, Spiritbreaker is just way too tanky for that. I don't really see where he's going to fit into this, and he needs to get that Blink Dagger up really early to even come online as like your kind of standard initiator, what you kind of expect out of your offlane. So he's just like totally throwing me for a loop. I'm prepared to be impressed by Meng. Dire side, it's like take Roche, kill Ancients, win game. Like they're not so exciting.
Yeah, and Duobao, they're gonna have that armor issue again. They pick up the Dazzle, so they will have the Weave eventually, but the Slardar, the TA, the Venge, everyone's gonna rip through you like you're just butter on a frying pan. And did Duobao have to build tanky to deal with that, or can they stick with the normal item builds and just try to get early momentum?
30 seconds.
It can be relatively normal. Some of those little like side builds that you see, like we might see the Dazzle go into the Medallion instead of the Urn, maybe leaving it for the Earth Spirit. So a little bit of like minus armor, negation, right? You can eventually build into the Solar Crest if the game starts going well. Do his own thing. The dire side, it's just Standard stuff too, right? Get your blinks up. You're like Deso first, I'm sure. Plenty of control here. Spirit Breaker and Slider and the Weaver. Like, you have so many mobile heroes that they should be able to create enough chaos.
I gotta interrupt you here, as Weaver is
No
gonna have that
way.
Scoochie. No, is gonna get it off. That was almost really bad, but Invoker is able to secure the runes, so Weaver takes a lot of damage for no real reason, has to eat a Tango, may even have to eat up a Salve if the lane gets hard, and that's pretty expensive. What are we looking at? What's going on?
No, I'm saying that was scary. Like,
oh, yeah.
Can you imagine? He goes down right there? I mean, not a good start.
Yeah, I mean, he did level up the Scoochie first, so you had that initiation. The problem was the lockdown from Duobao came at the same time. They go with the Nyx Impale at the same time as the stun from the Rolling Boulder. So if they had comboed that, it chained it just a little bit more effectively, maybe they could have had the damage. But either way, I think Weaver lives there. And oh, we're going to have a bug-on-bug action lane here. I'm excited.
Yeah, and they brought the Earth Spirit up here nice and early, too. And so going to continue that harassment that they already got done at the room. Like, he's already weak on Tangos. And unfortunately, like, the dream right now is that he gets enough harass that he goes for the salve, and then the kick comes out, right? And he cancels the salve, and that's it. It's like over. Other than that, lanes are just chilling out.
Yeah, interesting that the Spirit Breaker's spending a lot of time down bottom. He's able to go in, able to steal up some of this jungle farm most likely, but I don't think he really adds to the kill potential here. I think Dazzle, super survivable, life stealer as well, and Slardar just wants to sit back and get farm, get levels. So will the Spirit Breaker end up roaming, or will he just sit back and split Slardar's farm and XP?
It's kind of tough because I think it's a little bit of a worrisome lane down here, right? You get into like perhaps the slow, and you can always slither yourself ways the Slider, so there's not so much of a kill potential, but there is like that farm potential. Is like he needs to get into some items themselves. Like, he's a pretty greedy offlaner. You want to get into that blink, potentially like building into a 4-staff if you have Mega Poverty. You don't really Iron Talon that well, so I can understand the Spirit Breaker being down here, and again, that Tome of Knowledge is a really big part of how you're able to do this and negate a little bit of that earlier roamer experience that you did need.
Alright, so we've...
what is he doing up here?
Trying to steal some of this farm, I guess, with the Rolling Boulder? Not quite sure. As he's just gonna sit there and waste a lot of time. I think he's more needed mid lane, as TA, she picks up the point in the side blade, she's got the point in Refraction, Invoker is getting some decent farm. He has 5 last hits, but TA sitting at 9 and 2, and now has the potential to pick up this regen rune and maybe go in for an engage, as she will have full mana, full health, and a decent chunk of damage.
Be interesting to see if Cookie Bear kind of, maybe he can make some sort of a play there. If you look at the Radiant Side Vision, they don't have any idea what he's up to, so he could be like kind of hanging out here, and the dog is keep poking his head out and be like, alright, is Spirit Breaker still here? Yeah, he's still here. I can go back hiding under the tower and doing my thing, and just make sure the Invoker doesn't get gone on mid.
Yeah, I mean, Spirit Breaker, he's just barely ticked over to level 2, so he's got the charge, he's got the bash. Now they are going to go in onto Fonte, at least getting a little bit of harass, forcing him back from the wave. Slardar feeling decent about the farm, actually getting a fair amount for being that offlane Slardar up against a melee core.
And he's got about 4 more crushes left when you count in regen as well as that mango, so they can kind of go over these little harassing plays. It's only level 1 of the feast, and maybe that'll be enough for Cookie Bear to like finally see that jump and get the lucky bash. Mid lane.
There's going to be some initiation. They go in with the meld. There is going to be a charge here. Cookie Bear going to be going in, making the use, and there's going to be a negative armor coming out from the vent. The magic missile to follow up. The first blood may come out. It will come out. They might get a re-engage here as Earth Spirit wants to get something done, but just doesn't have the damage with the Invoker dead. So Invoker goes down. It goes the way of Moo, and that means TA is working with a lot of gold. 600 already on top of the Bottle Wraith fan. Going to be buying up the boots, and that's a really, really nice start against an Invoker. Now down bottom, maybe Slardar in some trouble. There is going to be that Beast here. The Open Wound slowing him out. There is going to be Spirit Breaker in the backlands. Getting down the Dazzle, goes over the grave at the last second. So there's a little bit of split target syndrome as now Fonte has to walk back, has to abandon his target of the Slardar, and they will end up getting down Dazzle. They may trade to a Cookie Bear here, and still worthwhile trade. No, the Crush keeps the Spirit Breaker alive. He doesn't have the charge. Still no mana on that. So he might have to just scramble back to lane. In fact, he's going to salve up and may just sit back and soak XP. There's going to be a roll in onto the rune, but Moo, she doesn't end up getting the haste, but doesn't lose her life. Very big spill of blood and aggression here in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, just a casual Orb of Venom kill, as a Spirit Breaker. That always feels good. Dazzle just trying to slink his way into the trees and gets ticked on over, so yeah, good chase there, just by Cookie Bear, not giving up on the play. Makes it happen. Jeez, I sound like a mid-period reporter or something in hockey. But anyway.
Oh, here we are going to have
another crush.
Yeah, the crush, and now Cookie Bear's there, gonna go with the body blocks, but oh, Fonte having none of this, just gonna go in. There is gonna be the dazzle there. No poison touch committed, but they do get the kill without that, so Lifestealer finally picked himself up his first kill of the game. And we're gonna have some aggression up top as, again, Nyx Assassin being the more aggressive bug, able to go in. He doesn't have any mana left, or that Impale will just tick up to it now, but he's got no mana regen. And is Nyx gonna rush into the Blink Dagger, or does he finish off tier 2 boots and get the Arcanes?
I think Arcanes are definitely warranted, just in, like, the whole roaming potential thing. Make sure you're always active. Kind of envision, like, your Clinks is kind of play it the same way on Nyx, just unfortunately you don't have a built-in Midas. That could be the other thing, too. Like, if he ends up having a decent time, maybe just gets the kills with the level 6. Might see him go back for that Midas, which is pretty crucial on Nyx to try and get out of those bigger items that he needs.
Up top, there's going to be rotation through. They have the charge here onto the Nyx Assassin, does have the Impale, does have the Carapace, so maybe able to buy some time off that. We'll get the stun onto Cookie Bear. There's going to be bugs thrown out onto the bugs. Oh god, it's going to get really dirty here as there's going to be the silence here onto Icy. Icy wants to go in for the missile. There's nice Impale connecting onto 2. Now Icy going to be in some trouble. They've got the Dazzle in. Still no Poison Touch. They might not have the slow. They might not have the damage. They will get down the Earth Spirit on the backlands. Vengeful Spirit does throw out that Wave of Terror. And Nyx Assassin in some trouble.
Hold the bashes.
There's going to be a heal there from the Dazzle, stalling out more death, but everyone getting low completely around the map. There's going to be a deep dive here. Invoker will end up getting smacked down by a Psyblade mid, and that's going to be the trade. So I guess globally it's an 0 for 2, but that was just a lot of damage thrown out, not a whole lot of clear targets, and Dazzle needs a point in that Poison Touch sooner rather than later.
You look at these 4 heroes on the side of the Radiant, and you kind of count out the Lifestealer because he's doing his thing. He's going to be farming. He's not going to be joining any fights. And they're just not that scary. Like, I would feel okay diving at these guys. An Invoker, a Nyx Assassin. Like, there's no rotation that gives me any threat on the side of FTD. Yeah, maybe they have a saving potential, but early on, I'm just not too worried. But the Nyx Assassin, now this is going to be nice.
Oh, there is a Sentry Ward, nice. But there's able to be a turn. Now Icy is going to get cold snapped up, just wombo comboed down. Do they have the damage to finish it off? Is Icy going to take away with 1 more health? The Invoker right click will secure the kill, and Moo here laying into the damage with the Side Blaze. There's going to be a crush onto the Nyx Assassin. Does have that Spike Carapace now. The Shallow Grave keeping him healthy. But the Swarm here from the Weaver doing so much work. The charge in from Cookie Bear. He's got bigger fish to fry. He's going all the way underneath the tier 1 tower. We'll get the stun onto the Earth Spirit. And now Dazzle just gets chunked. That was a really nice play by Moo. So much damage coming out from the Templar Assassin, even at just 6 minutes in the game. Now the Meteor will be dropped. Moo, oh, worky Meteor, alright. As, okay.
I mean, this is just chaos.
Cookie Bear may end up falling to tower shots, but they do get the Invoker, so what happened?
They have no punish at all. Like, they're just, like, they're literally diving their Invoker under the tower with 4 heroes. And there's no, like, Earthshaker or something like that you kind of expect. The Earth Spirit only has so many stones he can throw when he's been so active, and in this case he was just relatively low. But it all started out all because of that Sentry Ward. Like, just good game sense there by the Vengeful Spirit, just saying, hey, I should probably put a Sentry down, because that Nyx is going to be 6 any second now. Checks his little score tab and goes, oh, he's 6! And suddenly there's a Nyx Assassin there that he stuns up mid-Impale, you know, or rather mid-Vendetta, draws them in deeper. Really solid support play leading to another big win here for FTD.
Yeah, I mean, we've got this mid-Invoker that you want to be dominating now. You want him to start getting up his teamfight items. He's sitting on Brown Boots and an Aquila, and that's really it. And he has 3 deaths in terms of overall last hits. He's sitting pretty down there. He's going to be 6 on the chart. Overall net worth, same story. And Templar Assassin, she's getting exactly what she needs. She's now 3-0-2, able to take this Ancient stack, and she's got this completed Power Treads and almost 1,000 gold towards her first item.
Yeah, at this point, it's, I don't know, kind of the rule of thumb I've heard some, like, Templar Assassin aficionados talk about would be, like, if there's 3 heroes you feel like you can just blow up, then you can just go right for the Blink Dagger. Now, these days, it doesn't seem to be that much of a question. It's almost always, like, universally going to be the Deso first, and obviously it's going to accelerate your farm quite a bit, lets you do Ancients even faster than you already do, gives you great fight potential with this already heavy minus armor strategy you have, and they already have a lot of mobile heroes, so I'm still pulling for the Deso first, but I think with the fact of how squishy that Dazzle is and blowing up right away, the Blink could be warranted.
Yeah, I mean, I do see the Blink a little bit more in the SEA and Chinese scenes. The Deso is more of a NASA, just get in there, rip them apart, do the damage build, and, you know, FTD, they are probably going to be looking for that catch, as Duobao have no ways to deal with it. You talked about, you know, they've got the Nyx, they've got some boulders in, but as long as FTD continue to make these aggressive jumps, I think Duobao are going to be playing from the back foot from a long time.
Yeah, what is the roll? Oh, here we go, low roll. Oh, jukes it.
Okay, goodbye, TA. Yeah. I don't think she expected everyone to be there, but that's a really cocky play, even from a TA on the top of the net worth chart.
Yeah, it was almost kind of like baiting it out. You know, you get a little bit worried about it, and then there's like a slider up here under the tower, and you're like, wait a second, she's completely alone. What is happening here? Weaver's still farming top, so a little bit of a questionable play. What's just going on for her? Double ancient stack here, and they have warded up and blocked it though. So again, nicely done there by the Radiant. I'm still not feeling this Nyx right now. He needs so much. It's just such a hard hero to make work, unless it's like a direct counter to something like Dusa even, or the Darkseer is the biggest one.
So
impress me, Meg.
Yeah, no, I want to be impressed here so much, and I want to be impressed by the Invoker. I want to see some amazing teamfight combos, but he's just really poor. It looks like he's going for a Midas, but that's going to be a late Midas, like probably 12-13 minutes, and he still has tier 1 boots. He's not going to be anywhere near a Yule's or an Urn, whatever he wants to go for here, and it's just underwhelming. You really want that Invoker to be a powerhouse, and we talked about in draft how if the Invoker gets completely shut down, it's going to be a lot on the Lifestealer to get this done, and while he has an armlet in the phase, it's not the best start for a Lifestealer.
Yeah, he still wants to get into that Echo Saber and do his new school thing, right, with this Lifestealer. And that's another thing I guess I haven't talked about, like, the delivery system, right? That's the classic, the Lifestealer, the Puck, the Storm Spirit, and in this game it's going to be the Nyx Assassin. I didn't count that into the little combo. Alright, I apologize, Meng. Now I can be impressed. Unfortunately, it's not going to be for this one, though.
He's going in, he's going to get, oh, the Sunstrike combo as well. They are going to bring in the Rolling Boulder, so they might get the stun onto this. They do have the Silence, so no time lapse. There's the time lapse back to full health. Oh god, they needed one more component of lockdown and they would have gotten the Weaver kill, but for now, it's only going to be like a 60-second cooldown, and there's no reason why Destiny-sama can't keep farming up for like 10 more minutes and just get huge here. Now, does Weaver go for a Deso as well, or just leave that to the TA?
Alright, I have to think about this play first. So, you go up with the Vendetta, right?
Yes.
And is the assumption there that there is a Sentry Ward that's guarding him? Okay, I can understand that. But if you walk up to him and he doesn't move, then you can use your Vendetta and then you can immediately cast Carapace, and therefore he wouldn't be able to walk away from you because he'd be stunned, and then you can get the additional damage. Like, I feel like you can do the math on the health and the damage and your control. They should have been able to understand maybe a little bit better as to how hard that was going to be. I don't know, it's just like, these kills on Nyx, they have to happen. If they don't happen, this hero's just like dead weight right now. And, sorry, what was the actual question? Because I'm still not feeling this. Was it about the Deso?
It was about the Weaver. Does she go for a Deso, or do we just leave that to the TA?
I think, double Deso's not actually the worst thing in a lot of cases. What other item would even be that great on this Weaver right now? Like, the Lincoln Sphere, of course, is always an option, but it's not really going to be helping you out against too much this game. It's only about that, like, early mana regen. I think a couple people go for the early Dragonlance too for like some stats, and he might be able, it looks like he is going to be that first.
Earth Spirit, just getting completely beep-bopped up. Invoker just walking out of there, wanting nothing to do with the fight going down. No Sunstrikes, no Meteors, just stepping back, saying, I am not a part of this. You didn't see me here. No one's going to catch me. Now, Nyx Assassin does have his buddy in his belly, maybe looking for an initiation, but there's more heroes that he can deal with at this point. The charge will come through. You've got to pop out from Fonta. He goes in. He's trying to pick a target here. The Sunstrike will go through. Really nice impale here. Cookie Bear will be the first to fall. They will get the time lapse off on the Weaver. Now Nyx Assassin, gonna be burned out of mana, will go through the Arcane Boots. Oh, Blink Crush in! There's gonna be a Swarm, there's gonna be a Missile here, Meng gonna be the target. He can't really get out of this, he is gonna get Shallow Graved up by the Dazzle, but I think they've got the tools to get him down, as he's trying to get healed up, but will end up falling as Weaver just doing too much damage. Now Icy in some trouble, but the rest of the Radiant are gonna be forced back. They lose the Earth Spirit. It's a dominating streak for the Weaver. 4-0-3 on the backlands here. They get the slow onto Fonte, but the Dire are gonna settle here for just getting the tier 1 tower and feeling real nice about the way that this early game laning phase has gone.
Yeah, things are starting to at least turn around a little bit here, right? Like, trying to get a couple kills back on their way, getting some gold up onto that Lifestealer, but the aggression never stops. The Blink Dagger, this is what it's good for, right?
Bye! I mean, you've got Dazzle. Dazzle's gonna be sitting there, no mana for the grave, it's still on cooldown. Cookie Bear will end up being the trade here. They're able to go in with the Forge Spirits and pick the kill for the Invoker, and Invoker gets out with his life, so that is not the worst it could have been for Duobao. If they dropped the Invoker and didn't get anything in return, that's a real loss of momentum, but at least Duobao get a decent pick onto the Breaker.
Yeah, slows down his aggression, and then right away they just want to like keep on going here. See if they want to be handing into the Roche Pit? Yeah, let's just go. No Deso required because I have a Slider. Like, best of both worlds. Like, you don't have to buy the Deso, you can get your Blink to be all aggressive and do your thing, and just get your little buddy to be your pseudo Desolator here.
Yeah, I mean, that amplified damage is so good. We haven't really seen it come into play in these team fights, as Slardar has been doing his own thing for most of the laning phase now, but now that TA has Aegis, now that they're going to get the Weaver Dragonlance online, I like that pick a lot. Now that we're starting to see first big items come out, I think FTD can start to push, they can start to get towers, and again, that negative armor strat will rip through heroes, rip through towers.
Oh, here it is. The combo. Let's go.
Oh, okay. They're gonna go through, but the swap out! Vengeful Spirit is a player. They may end up losing Icy here. Icy's still alive. She's going back in, throws out the missile. She will get the positive earn charge. She may end up falling to the neutrals here. The Magnetize comes out. She's taking too much damage. She does end up falling. She's gonna be the first casualty. Can they find more? Fonte trying to armlet toggle for his life. We've got Destiny Sama going back through so much damage here. The Spirit Breaker goes in with the charge. The armlet doing a lot of work. Oh, the Nyx Assassin and the Boulder. They're getting the job done. It's gonna be a triple kill out for the Radiant. They're looking for more. The Crush, triple man crush. Moo sitting here. The Sunstrike comes out. There's gonna be a shallow grave here onto Fonte. They want to have him fighting till the bitter end, and Moo will end up dropping. They've got the sentry here, so they don't able to get away with that meld strike, or rather the meld in general.
He's got no mana though.
Oh, that's gonna be a dead TA after the Aegis. They lose the Lifestealer, which is a nice core to get, but they get the Aegis and they get the TA. They also get the Weaver and the Spirit Breaker. Duobao definitely hitting their stride there on the back of some really nice Nyx plays.
Yeah, there we go, right? Wombo combo. Easy peasy, Meg. Shutting me up right now. It's going to be getting into that Blink Dagger now. It's still a little bit later than you'd like, but hey, they're starting to turn this thing around. I'll give it to him. Lifestealer's almost caught back up with a TA. She's been farming the Ancients, so this guy's really putting in the work here, despite even just dying in that last fight.
Alright, so
where do we go from here is the big question, though, right? Like, that Invoker, I think, is now kind of moving into my question mark zone, right? Meng's getting off the hook. He's starting to do his thing, but you gotta get some items up here. It's gonna be the drums first, and then perhaps that Yules will be enough to kind of like halt out this aggression and stop some of this like wombo combo, almost like brawl combo, it seems, right? From FTD.A with a charge and then the crush coming in. If you remove one of these elements, namely Moo, who's like getting this whole game on a platter handed to him,
yeah.
Right? And you start picking off the rest of the supporting cast.
And I think they're playing this TA so smart. In the mid lane, she was able to go in and pretty much dominate the Invoker, and now she's getting those kills spoon-fed to her. She's sitting at 5, 2, and 3. 2 deaths in the last couple of minutes has slowed her down a little bit, but she's going to be sitting at like 2,500 gold. Does she go for a BKB, or does she pick herself up a Desolator and turn into Slardar Jr.?
BKB is actually like kind of interesting, right? Like, do they even need to keep farming? Like, does she need more damage? These are the kind of things that she's gonna have to ask herself.
Damage is neat. I think that
damage is pretty good.
Charge in Fonte. I don't think he has a chance to react to this. There will be the Radiant rotating back through. They got the Vendetta up from the Nyx. Oh, the double man stun. And there is going to be the Sunstrike coming back down. Cookie Bear trying to get away. Doesn't have the charge. Plop out from the Fonte here. Will secure the kill. It's going to be Nyx and Earth Spirit picking off those picks. And Weaver seemed unkillable in laning stage, but has gone down twice in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that's just some A in Dota right there. I'm liking this guy. Earth Spirit player. Big kick coming through. The counter initiation.
You're just all about picking these rising stars and getting on their bandwagons, aren't you?
I mean, we don't know who these people are, right? So you gotta start praising individuals, and then if they just fade into complete obscurity, it doesn't matter, no one's gonna remember this, but when they get really good, in like a year from now, I can just be like, yo, I totally called this guy. I remember back in DPL when this guy was unreal on his Earth Spirit.
You are talking so loud and so passionately that my audio captures a mess. Now swap in. They will get the stun here onto A1, so your boy may end up heading back to the grave, although the roll back, the TP in, he survives, he's taking a charge. Do they commit deeply for this one, Meng? He's going to be on the back lines. He now has the Vendetta, able to get that nice strike. There will be a crush up. Oh, the Sunstrike coming out from the Invoker. They're going to turn this. They will get the kill onto Cookie Bear. Somehow Aeon's still alive. He's going to be going back through, tossing out boulders left and right. He will live. He's got the amplified damage, but no way to lock him down. This is going to be a huge turn there. They get the Slardar, they get the Spirit Breaker, and everyone else from the Dire running away. They've got Destiny Sama going back through. There is going to be a missile onto Icy, but Fonte taking this opportunity to grab himself a snack, eating up the Vengeful Spirit. Going to be going for the S and Y. We'll finish it off just about now. Now mid lane Moo, duking it out with the Invoker. They do have the Sentry Vision, so they got to lock down the Invoker while they still can, and they're not able to do so. One more strike will dodge out because of that Invis.
See what happens when you question him?
I didn't question him.
I mean, I don't know, it sounded pretty questioning, but coming through with the plays, majorly so, and it will be the Deso. They're down to keep on rolling. Maybe they're just feeling like they can't quite finish anyone off, and that tends to be kind of the issue in these last couple of fights, right? These heals from Adong, and if you can blink and blow up that Dazzle, this could be a totally different thing, right? Maybe he'll just have to be the Earth Spirit, too.
Yeah, I mean, this Nyx Assassin, though, putting in so much work. Now, on the backlines, we have a surround. Mu is looking here. There will be a charge here onto the Dong, and Dong doesn't have a chance to go in and cast that Shallow Grave, so will end up falling down. The Magnetize doing so much work. Finally, Earth Spirit does drop. The backlines, they do lose their Slardar. I see underneath his own Tier 1 tower may end up getting plopped down, but oh, the Lifestealer will go into a creep and out of a creep. He gets some nice health. He goes in for that slow onto Mu. Nyx Assassin, can he make the big plays here? I think they lose Fonte. They do lose Fonte, and Nyx just wants to escape with his life. Doesn't want to go in and be the hero here. Although maybe Icy is too tempting of a target. He might turn. He will go. He's going to go through, oh, blink away. They're going to cancel it in time. The Swarm goes through, but they're not able to do anything. Charge immediately canceled from Cookie Bear, and that was the last of his mana as well. But in the end, very successful fight from FTD.A.
Yeah, probably just not expecting that damage is going to be coming out there from that Desolator. Can't really blame them, right? Suddenly just showing up there from Mu. Extremely farmed. Now starting to catapult himself back up to kind of where he was. He got a 1,500 gold lead now over top of that Lifestealer. And what about our next Roche? So we'll find out in about 2 minutes, as that Aegis has gone past now. I feel like FTD could kind of start like clearing up probably the end of the tier 2s. Like we still have the T1 in mid, but that'll likely be taken down here soon by them. I still feel like they're in control, but considering the way the game was going, like you can see it was starting to head on back up towards the Radiant side. They needed to go a little bit later. They couldn't get steamrolled so early because this Nyx Assassin just doesn't really start to come online until you get into that secondary item of like the Aghanim Scepter or whatever he chooses to go with.
Okay, so we're now at a 20-minute mark. The laning phase is effectively over. We're going for rotations. XP sitting right at 0. Net worth, same story. Sub 1,000 difference. And it's going to come down to team fights. It's going to come down to what you can take on the back of a team fight, I think. And at this point, FTD.A has a lot better group up and push towers than Duobao.
Oh, okay, I got worried there. Thought we were jumping in. It is going to be some more aggression. Kills to take down towers, it seems. Nyx Assassin just kind of looking. Now, this is one thing, right? You can't actually tell when he's inside. That's a pretty handy thing here. No detection revealing the lifesteal.
Blink in, not quite getting a catch there, and does reveal himself. That's a Vendetta on cooldown for 60 seconds. Well, you called it out. The Nyx is going for that Aghanim Scepter. I like it a lot. I think it's going to add a lot of re-engage from Duobao's draft, because at this point, they kind of go in, they toss their spells, and they see if it's successful or not. The Lifestealer, I mean, he's ride or die. He's going to be in there on the front lines, munching people down to the bitter end, and having the Nyx able to turn and reinitiate in from that little ulti burrow, I guess, is going to be important. Now the scan, really nice. Will scout out that Mu is in the Ancients. Not going to be stacked up, so they might not have the opportunity to turn and go on her, but that does give us some Duobao free time top without feeling like they're going to get ganked.
Yeah, just being aware that maybe there's no smoke gank coming in or anything like that, because their vision is like mega lacking. We swap over to that Radiant side. They're not too sure what they're up to, so a wise man's guess of the Ancients was correct, and we're about to find out when our Roche timing will be here.
Yeah,
that's
right
really,
now.
I mean, that's pretty crucial right now.
The only one scuttled out right now from Radiant Vision is Cookie Bear up top, so they don't know where any of the Dire are. They're not sure if they're farming up their own jungle or if they're here near the side shop region. Duobao. They look for picks or they look for Roche. They want to find something. They don't want to get ganked in the pit, because with all that negative armor, if FTD go for a cohesive jump, they've got the tools to get the kills. And oh, they're going to go in underneath the tower. They might be able to get the Weaver. They do. With that Sunstrike, it's a mega kill streak for the Invoker that's starved in lane. Now he's picked himself up 6 kills.
Poor Weaver. Can't really like, transition into anything. He's picking up these items like the Dragon Lance and the Diffusal Blade, and I just kind of feel bad for him. You know, no survivability. It's understandable going for the max damage and everything like that. That's kind of the way our Weavers are going, and a Lincoln Sphere isn't going to save you, but solid movements once again. This is what Game 1 looked like too, where once they actually got on the ball and rolling, get the levels and the items that they wanted, they really did look like pretty formidable. So, also, I gotta say, have you, like this ward by Roche, I legit died like twice in a game today because I thought my supports had placed a sentry and an observer because it's all blue. Not a fan.
Oh, that is, I didn't even know.
I mean, that was tripping me out.
Oh, we got action. We can't whine about the game anymore. We are going to have a charge coming through here onto the Nyx Assassin to get the dust here. He just bounces around to his death. Bug equals smashed, and now we are going to get a kill here onto the Dazzle as well. So double kill comes out from Mu, and it is only the support and the offlaner, arguably not the highest net worth heroes, but the fact that they feed those directly into the mouth of Mu means she now has 1,000 gold to work with on top of her new BKB.
Yeah, plus there's no better time to be getting rid of that Dazzle than the Roche pit as well, right? Making sure that, well, not only that, but the invisible initiation too. Don't have to waste any sentries, so free Roche pit here for FTD.
And
towards Oh, sorry.
It's really a
started to lean
stalemated out
towards the
game.
die.
God damn it, you go first.
That's just the wonders of casting. No, it's starting to favor in towards the side of FTD like pretty heavily. Like the rating side, they're already starting to get their things going, and they made the bounce back play that I don't think we were really expecting in a lot of ways with the general heroes they had. Now it comes down to a lot of like high ground defense through an Invoker.
They got that illusion, man. Charge, magic missile, and the rotation in from the TA secures the death of the Earth Spirit illusion. So, well, no, Duobao, they have got vision on what's going down here in the mid lane. Can they stop it, though? That's the question. Invoker, he's sitting here. He's got that Meteor channeled up, or rather the Forged Spirits, and he's going to send in his little push buddies to try to do some work, but like this tower will end up going down for free. Not even the Fortify spent from Duobao.
Doesn't look like they're quite done yet, though. Hanging around that mid lane. They would love that Dazzle. They have the vision on it, but of course, a very risky jump here. No one else has started. You really want that initiating charge from Cookie Bear just to get vision on somebody. Is Destiny will hunt out the Earth Spirit.
Oh, Moo. Gonna be in some trouble here. There is gonna be a nice boulder smash coming on in on the top lines here. We do have a nice, oh man, Nyx Assassin is a player. The meatball from downtown swap out will not secure the safety of the Spirit Breaker. They lose 2. Vengeful Spirit is down. She takes out the cow, and now Mang might end up going down. Will be the trade. The Dazzle tries to heal, but isn't gonna be successful. Now the time lapse out. They may catch out Fonte here. There's gonna be a nice blink crush in from M. Now Fonte looks to turn this. He's split on his targets. He wants to get something. He will get the Aegis off of the TA, but will end up popping. Triple kill coming out for the Weaver. Now there is gonna be the Invoker for stepping up to high ground. Really nice angle on that. So in the end, it's going to be a 3-4-2, and it's only the supports going down on the side of FTD.A. So that was a really nice fight for FTD.A.
Slaughter, so close, just not moving as that Sunstrike came down. The ward giving him vision, but he misses on that one. I really liked Moo in that fight. The fact that he actually BKB'd before the Aegis went down, which is kind of one of those things that, you know, maybe sometimes it doesn't seem like it's the right play and you want to wait till you come back up, but seeing that opportunity between like the silences and just trying to negate a lot of that Earth Spirit damage, getting to mill that fight, the fight's not going to get any better, right? So pops the BKB, does his thing. Yeah, very good use of that first 10-second burst of it.
Oh, we got a rotation down. It's going to be a smoke, but it will end up breaking as Weaver wants to go in, wants to get the kill. They're going to be going through. The nice crush will land, so yo, your boy Earth Spirit just gets dumpstered. Now
I mean, that's not his fault. That's just a lack of wards. I mean, that's what that is right there.
But it's
just
Earth Spirit. He's in charge of the wards. Yeah, either way, it's going to be a clean pick, and the Earth Spirit isn't really a key point of initiation from Duobao. They're able to still fight, they're able to hold, they will go through with the Nyx, they bring in the Lifestealer, the swap out, will secure the safety of the Weaver. Now there's going to be a charge here onto the Nyx, they know he doesn't have Vendetta, he's just going to have to fight for his life, and there's going to be that, oh no, it's all going to hell here, as Fonte is going to take a shallow grave, but I don't know if he gets alive, and Poison Touch comes out onto the starter, he doesn't really care. Oh, the Invoker Force Task back up to the high ground, will go in, is invis up from that Ghost Walk, and well, FTD.A, they get picks, they're able to clean up, they don't lose anything of their own, and they're actually still holding on to all their ultimates, aside from the swap.
So they are going to take a little bit of a back step here. They don't want to go too crazy. I can understand. High ground versus the Invoker, mega scary stuff. So you want to make sure everyone's at their best, full mana and everything like that. The BKB was still up there from the TA, but not quite worth it. See if they have anything else that's going to be like crucial farm-wise. They already have Blink Force Staff on our Slardar. Ooh, there we go. That's a big one.
BKB on the Weaver, and she's going to go for that magic immunity as opposed to the Lincolns, and, you know, you usually just think Weaver, Lincolns, duh, but at this point, Duobao, they don't have a lot of single target. I mean, I guess maybe the open wounds and the Lifestealer, maybe the Poison Touch and the Dazzle, but that's not what's killing the Weaver. What's killing the Weaver is the Nyx jumping in and just spraying out Lifestealer damage all over the place.
Yeah, the other big thing is just, like, Earth Spirit just makes it so sad when you go for that Lincoln Sphere, and he does not care about that item. You are still going to be mega silenced and have yourself a bad time as a Weaver player, so I'm always going to be a big fan of the BKB in games against him, and very handy against all that AoE damage from the Invoker that's also just going to be totally ignoring that. Not so good in terms of like your agility, or rather your intelligence, of course, but Fusel Blade offsetting that a little bit.
Got Black Dragon preventing some of the push, so decent counter push now in the Lifestealer creep. How long does he stick inside this Ancient, though? And where do they go off the back of this? Duobao, it feels like slowly but surely they're getting choked out. Dire are rotating through aggressively into the jungle, they're getting the most out of the map, and Duobao are slowly starving. The heroes that they need to continue to get farm on, the Lifestealer, the Nyx, the Invoker, and Invoker has the Midas, so it's going to help him out, but Lifestealer, he's falling behind in terms of net worth, he's 4th on the chart.
Oh yeah, they're set up here in the mid lane. Get a little bit of aggression here. They don't have any vision up onto that hill though, so they're kind of waiting for someone to sneak their way down here. A little bit of a move bait won't quite work out there. And we go back to a little bit of some passive gaming. Okay, well, this is looking very similar to kind of what the Dire were hoping for last game, right? Big Darkseer plays. This time it'll be big Invoker plays, some meatballs, some tornadoes. He's getting up into level 14. That is sad life. Jeez, I'd be like handing the tones over to this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he needs like
You're
8
the supports,
tones.
man. Buy it for yourself. Just let them hang.
Alright, so another clean tier 2 tower. There's only going to be one left in terms of exterior towers on the Radiant. And FTD.A, this negative armor strat, is just going to get more and more potent as Duobao, they don't start really building armor. I mean, they got that one point in the Dazzle Weave, but Invoker, he has to go for this fighting build. He can't go tanky. Lifestealer, he goes for the Armlet Deso. Not even going to be close to picking up the Assault Cuirass yet, so Duobao cannot deal with taking a full fight from FTD, and that means FTD have a nice window to go in and take whatever objectives they can.
Yeah, and that's a good point to bring up too when it does come down to the full 5-on-5. Certainly not going to be favoring them right now, it would seem, and maybe that will be something that they can solve through Meng. For now, it looks like it'll be a little bit of a team effort here, but you can send him up ahead, does a little bit of a scouting thing, and oh, that Shadow Blade, that could be kind of nice. I don't think they have anything in preparation for that, right? They have, despite having a Weaver, I haven't seen like lots of sentries, but
Nyx has actually been doing a decent job keeping up the sentries.
yeah.
Alright, so Meng, he's hunting. He doesn't have the Lifestealer. There's going to be a rotation out from the Dire Hero, so they have to go really deep if they want this, and that means Radiant out of their comfort zone. They're not fighting on any sort of choke points. They don't have that high ground advantage for the Invoker, so Duobao, are they taking too many risks here?
No, because as you talked about, like, they are getting choked out, right? You gotta do something. And this game keeps going later and later. I don't think it'll favor you.
Oh, Nyx getting beep-bopped up. Can they lock him down before he goes in for the spike? And there is going to be a nice re-engage. They got the Deafening Blast. They got the Meteor. Cookie Bear will end up falling. Nice crush connecting onto 2. They're going to throw out the Poison Touch as Moo. BK beat up. Going to be going in. They just completely chunk apart the Dazzle. They get the Invoker down as well. And now Meng. Oh, one strike. That crit was not safe for work. And it's only going to be the Lifestealer left alive along with the Earth Spirit running for their lives here. You've got M going back through, but the Rolling Boulder out will secure that the Earth Spirit gets out okay. And Fonte, he just wasn't able to add anything to that fight. I mean, yeah, they got down the Spirit Breaker, but it took a full Invoker combo, and then Invoker died.
Yeah, that was actually hard to watch. He got straight up 2-shot by Moo. Like, the Invoker just completely obliterated. I did not think he was going to go down that fast, but he just had no way to disjoint that first meld, and then Moo just kept on chasing with that Blink Dagger. 20 full seconds without him. He is their high ground defense. This is the moment that he wanted. He's been dreaming of this, but he's in the grave.
You're just really like doodling. We're gonna have a nice Blink Crush in. They get down the Earth Spirit. He doesn't have buyback. Switching over the buybacks, it's looking pretty abysmal from the Radiant as they are just really poor. Forced to buy out just to have some sort of survivability up against this push, and the push only gets pushier now. We've got the Weaver hitting for a decent chunk of damage. We've got the Deso on the TA. You've got Slardar just hitting like a truck. Those Blink Crushes are super on point, and you've got the Nyx trying to chase. He's got the Lifestealer, but at this point, he's just not spooky. And the gem on the Weaver means that Weaver can re-engage at any point.
Oh,
okay.
Nice little time lapse. Okay, good stuff, good stuff.
Alright.
Sunstrikes are scary. Yeah, he's got his own
Maybe
Chrysalis
not
done.
scary enough, but you know, that does eat up a big chunk of his mana pool. Oh, Forge Spirit's got in the way. Forge Spirit will scout out everyone here. There's going to be a Blink initiation in, but the Radiant back off. Oh, they are going to get the Psionic Trap here onto Meng. They've got a defensive sentry here underneath what used to be the tier 2 tower. It's going to be Weaver scooting on up. They've got Cookie Bear on the offensive. The Tornado will not catch, but oh! The Nyx with the Impale, and now Fonte just 1v5. Oh, he's big, but he's just not that big. He's running away, immediately regretting his decision, getting Shallow Graved up, hopping into his buddy, calling an Uber, and just going back home, not ready to go and take on this fight. I thought for sure that the Lifestealer would have gotten punished there harder, but well, I guess Duobao, they have a chance to reset.
Oh, well, that going right back in.
Oh, Cookie Bear. He's in some trouble, but swap out again from the Venge. Venge has been so on point with these swaps, making sure that no one gets killed. A couple of times she has had to die with her target. Now there is going to be a Tornado in. The Meatball and the Deafening Blast will kill off the Spirit Breaker, but this fight looks very similar to last time where they dropped the full Invoker combo. Then Invoker gets a little bit aggressive and ends up punishing, but looks like FTD.A, they will back off. They're going to accept this reset. Spirit Breaker is going to be the trade here in these fights more and more, but this allows FTD.A to pick up their next round of big items, and in terms of overall gold, it's looking really, really good for the Dire.
Yeah, just taking a look now. Bigger items there. That Weaver has got quite the assortment of items coming out here, right? Like the Diffusal Blade, the Dragon Lance, the Chrysalis. He's all over the place. Hopefully it's like insane amounts of damage. Doesn't need, but he doesn't like need any of those items that you tend to look for, right? When you start thinking about like MKB, there's no evasion. The BKB is going to be just fine in terms of his overall defensive capabilities, and Weaver doesn't really build into like your ACs or anything like that. So kind of a different hero when it comes to some of these item builds later into the game. It'll be the Butterfly next year as well for Moo, who's also finding himself totally out of control. 24,000 net worth. It's got the fully completed Butterfly actually on the courier, but someone else is deciding to hog it back to the fountain.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine Moo just sitting back, like, unsure how to control this TA, because capable of so much damage. Again, we saw that crit up here in the side shop do, like, 2/3 of Invoker's health in one strike. And there's gonna be no reason why TA can't just completely continue to spiral. She's got that Butterfly, like you mentioned. She also has enough for buyback, 1,200 on top of that. And we see some super luxury items like, you know, a Divine Rapier. Please? Like, that crit would be dirty.
I mean, if you want to potentially give them a chance to win, that would be good. It's too far past 3-1-5-4 for her to be picking up a Rapier, I'd say. It's pretty much the only acceptable time I would have taken that one for Moo.
Oh, now
all
down
right,
bottom.
let's go, Dragon. Do your thing. Give me that wave clear.
It's usually an aggressive hero. You usually pick this up. You're the one sieging towers, but they have to use it defensively. I mean, they've got Lifestealer safe inside, but FTD, they're going to look for the slow siege. TA, she's got that full Psionic Blade. She's going to go through. She's a ranged hero now, and well, the fire will end up burning down the creeps, so they don't have that backdoor protection burnt out. Each creep is going to end up going down, so it's a slow siege. And FTD.A, they need to go for some dramatic plays to get things started.
Yeah, it's one of those things about Spirit Breaker where he doesn't really like flourish in this, right? If they can get a single amplified damage, that'd be kind of nice. Get some vision onto the high ground, maybe that'll provide it. But for now, all they see is a dragon. Not gonna be helping their setup too much. They don't have the big Tide Hunter. M can, maybe he sees a good moment, he'll still go.
Oh, they're going to start things off onto the Weaver. They get the Sunstrike here locked in place, but the swap out, time-lapse back on in. Weaver does not want to be shepherded out just yet, and that's going to be full health back on the bug. Again, that does cost 0 mana, thanks chat. And we're going to be seeing, again, a reset back into the slow siege. They have that really low cooldown on the time-lapse. They're going to have the swap back online as well pretty soon, and maybe a smoke, so maybe they look to wrap around. They do draw on the minimap heading towards mid. Maybe they go through, make the high ground backdoor protection that way, and then rotate in from the base. They're going to be looking for the Lifestealer, again, still in the Black Dragon form. He's enjoying that little D-push that it offers, but there's only so much armor it can bring.
They really need vision up on that high ground. Like, if Icy could just sneak over and get a ward down, of course, like, chance out it'll be spotted in Sentry, but even just for a fraction for a charge, that could be
Weaver goes up! Weaver just dies! No time lapse there, and there's gonna be a BKB on the slaughter. He gets a nice crush, but oh, this is gonna be just Moo going to work. They lose the Weaver, but everyone just getting splatted down. Charge almost going through into the fountain. There's a crush in the high ground of the fountain. The swarm comes out. Beyond godlike triple kill. Oh, good golly. Perfect world. Please stop the PowerPoint. I want to go home. We've got the racks being eaten down. This looks like it could be GG in terms of overall buybacks. The Radiant, they're sitting poor. There's going to be a Magnetize out doing a lot of work here, but the Earth Spirit will just get chunked down. One more hit, and he dies. And, well, as this fight comes to a very choppy conclusion, I think we're going to see a tap out here as Icy, oh, nice Tornado. But do they have the follow-up here? Invoker doesn't drop the Deafening Blast, doesn't drop any more meatballs. It's just going to be a full lane of racks going the way of FTD.A. They don't lose any heroes. The Invoker is still alive. Fonte, he goes in, he wants to be a man here. He is not able to get down M, and now he's dead. He doesn't have buyback, and the GG is called out. FTD.A, they managed to take themselves a series here, so it will be a 1-1 split on this best of 2. Any last thoughts about the game, Pax?
Moo's just like a monster. Man, did he ever turn on that second game? Night and day, it would seem, between the two squads. Kind of switching roles here this time. I don't know. I think the lanes were just a little bit shaky in a lot of ways from the Radiant side. Rocking the Nyx Assassin, and in order to get him like a decent start, because it did go a lot better than I would have expected, they committed fully the Earth Spirit top lane. That's the only place that he was. And so your Invoker got totally destroyed mid by the TA, allowing Moo to snowball completely out of control, right? Just doing his own thing. And then your other support being the Dazzle, like, typically the Earth Spirit is there to protect mid because he can't TP and do a lot of his saves, right? Most of his turnaround potential comes from actually being there set up with the stone and the kick. It's going to be too delayed if he has the TP in, whereas the Dazzle, the Shallow Grave, that's kind of acceptable. So I could see how that could have worked out, but it all just kind of snowballed out of control from there. And a sick bounce back in the mid game, though. I will give them credit for that, but FTD.A closing it out.
Alright, so that's gonna conclude this first series of the Dota 2 Professional League. Don't worry, we've got 10 more games to do tonight, so strap up, get ready here. More Chinese Dota coming your way, but first I want to give a huge shout out to Motpax for joining me, inviting him on super last minute, but you have been an awesome co-caster to work with. Looking forward to working with you more in the future. Where can everyone find you?
Oh, well, if you guys want to follow my casts, you can follow me on Twitter at Moppax. If you want to avoid them, it's also the best place to go because I'll tweet whenever I'm casting. So it's really just a win-win, you and me. I recommend just hitting the follow button, and we'll go from there. Start a beautiful relationship.
Well, okay, that is a plug if I've ever heard one. So everyone, we're going to be cutting back to the match screen, coming up with the next series, which is going to be Duobao once again versus LGD. Might be a quick one here, lots of odds onto LGD, but always looking for an upset. So stick around, series number 2 coming at you in just a couple of moments.